this is Neil with Wasted Paper here, bringing you another fountain pen review. This time it's on a Sailor fountain pen. This is a new model to me, so I'm excited to check this out, and I think some other people out there may be curious about this pen too. Starting off with the box, you have a white slipcover box with not much else to say. There's a bit of rattling around in the box, which is a little bit worrisome, but hopefully it's not too bad. Underneath the slipcover, you have another white box with more Sailor branding on the top. Inside of the box, you have these instructions. I'm sure everyone watching can read these, but I cannot, so I'm not going to really cover much here with those. This is from their Shikiori line, and again, it is a starter style pen for them. It's a stainless steel nib, which I'll show you in a minute. The colorway I have right here is Sasabune. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I'll show it on the screen. But this is a really nice blue, and it's kind of what pulled me in. I was like, okay, the price is somewhat affordable for a fountain pen, especially for a Sailor. And then this color just looked really good to me in the picture, so I wanted to check it out. The top and bottom finials are both rounded, really reminiscent of their 1911 model. The clip is a bit stiff. There's not a lot of give to it, but I don't think it's bad. There's just quite a bit of stiffness there. Then you have a Sailor cap band that says Sailor founded 1911. The pen uncaps in 1 3/4 rotation. The nib itself has some nice filigree work on there. It's very similar to the ones you would see on their normal nibs. I'll show a picture there. So it's nice to see that because I don't think I expected that with the steel nib. And the only option I saw, at least on Endless Pens, is fine. So I went with a fine. And for those of you not familiar with Sailor pens, a fine in Japan is going to be a lot more fine than it is anywhere else. On the inside of the pen, there is nothing, as this pen does not come with a converter, which isn't that uncommon for Sailor pens. I wish they'd get on it, but it's what it is. With posting, this pen does it, and it does it just fine. It's a little weird because I don't feel any resistance at all until right when this band hits the body, and then it's on there. But it's not going anywhere, it stays just fine. And the cap and the whole material of this pen in general is really lightweight, so I think you would have no issues writing like this regularly. For ink, we're going to be going with Private Reserve Daphne Blue. This is a really nice light blue that I think is going to go really well to match the body and cap of this pen. For my writing sample, I'm going to be using my storyboard notebooks. These are from Endless, and so far I've been liking this paper quite a bit, so I'm going to continue to try it, especially with a nib this fine. As for the flex, this is with no pressure, with, none, with, none, with. And then testing if the pen will write without me applying any pressure at all. Alright, so I have a few things to say here. I really like fine nibs, don't get me wrong, but I do not like extra fine, and this really is an extra fine, at least when compared to what I normally use. That's mostly due to this being a Japanese nib. There's some scratchiness, but not what you expect with like your normal like gold Sailor nibs. There is some, but not a lot. It writes just fine though. Maybe some light lettering here, but I kind of pulled my hand off, so I think there's really no issue with the feed keeping up or anything like that. With the flex, there is a little bit, not a lot. Mostly that's coming from applying more ink. As you're putting pressure, it's going to put more ink down, but there is a little bit to be seen here, and the pen does write under its own weight, which is really good, especially for a nib that's really fine like this. I think that is a good feature. I think if you like extra fines, this is going to speak to you. For me, it's a bit sharp. As for the size comparison, I have my Lamy Safari and my Pilot Custom 823. When looking at them all side by side, the Shikiori is the smallest of the three, and by a pretty big margin when you look at it next to the 823. The width-wise is similar at its biggest point to the Safari though, to give you kind of an idea there. Uncapped though, it's not even close. This pen is a smaller pen for sure. It didn't feel too small in hand by no means, but it is the smallest pen here. And again, once they're posted, it's not even close. This is by far the smallest pen here. The MSRP of this pen is $85. You can get it on Endless Pen's website for $68. I picked it up because I mostly wanted to check out one of their like beginner, starter kind of models. The trim on here is super shiny, super nice looking. The bodies have a few nice colors. I think the speckled ones, I think those would stand out a lot too. I was very close to buying the pink one personally. I think that's a super nice one. I just don't have a lot of pink inks to show off, so I kind of went with the blue one. I think if you're interested in checking out Sailor pens, this is a good starting point, especially if you don't want to overindulge and spend, 3 digits or more. Personally, I don't know that it's going to beat the Tuzu. I've not used that pen yet, and I want to be clear about that. But I've seen a lot of love for that pen, and I see people really liking that, and people kind of considering that the golden standard for Sailor's starting line. All that being said, thank you for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below.